Okay, next on the agenda is SREDA's yearly update.
Kind of my best passing it home. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Well, Mayor and council members, thank you again for allowing us to come before you, and I am going to try and be as quick as I can. So SREDA, I'm just going to do a little brief about what we do, just as a reminder of
Name
what.
and address.
Oh, name and address, I'm sorry. Kristen Nieskens, Executive Director of Snake River Economic Development Alliance, a mouthful,
address.
SREDA,
And your address, please.
650 College Boulevard in Ontario, Oregon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So SREDA covers 2 states, 3 counties. So we cover Malheur County, Payette, and Washington counties. What our idea is here is we were formed back in 2009 thinking that as a region, we have more power, more pull, one common goal to work for. So that is how SREDA came about. I want to just quickly talk about some of our target areas. In the packet that I gave you, it will kind of list those areas once again, but it's just a review. You know, we really want to find things that fit our communities, so our target industries are agriculture and food processing, outdoor recreation, manufacturing, assembly, distribution, warehouse, renewable energies, and then recently we've added in the last couple of years tourism and hospitality, because we think that's an untapped asset that we have here in our region. We have so much outdoor things to do, and we're really seeing the pick up of those activities, especially after 2019. With COVID-19, everyone wants to do that recreation, so how can we tap into that industry? So we are a public-private partnership, so the way we're funded is through private membership and through memberships of banks and small businesses, things like that, and then of course our cities, counties, and good folks like you, so we appreciate that. Some of our activities, we include business retention and expansion, so it's really important for us to make sure that our businesses here at home are succeeding and doing well. So we do checkups with them. We respond to state and other leads. So when SREDA was formed, most of our leads came through the state. And they would notify us and say, hey, we have a company looking to land somewhere. What do you have? Most of those now come directly to our office. 80% of those come to our office, which is a good sign saying that we're doing something right. We've got our name out there. They're looking. They know who to contact. So we're proud of that number. I also do a lot of land inventory. So Idaho has a website called the Gem State Prospector, and if you haven't ever seen that, I would encourage you to go look at it. And that is a free site for us to list all of our properties that we have that investors or other companies will look at. So I'm going to say a little over almost 2/3 of the states use this prospector. It's called Zoom Prospector. So it's widely known, well used. It's something that's free of service. So if you have a realtor who has an industrial property that they're wanting to sell, we would go ahead and list that. I'm the person who lists it, but I would list them as who to contact. So it goes directly to them. It doesn't really necessarily come through us. If they have questions, they always have my contact information. A lot of times they'll contact us and say, hey, we're looking at this property. What can you tell us about the area? And that's where I kind of step in, so I can give that kind of information, maybe incentives and things like that. Who to contact for power? What is the outlook for power right now? How far are we out? Those kind of things. But really, I'm a connect the dots kind of person. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses just to help them either get started or grow or expand, those kind of things. If I don't know it, I usually can figure out somebody who does. So we have a lot of great people on our board, which has been really helpful. If we need to make that phone call to maybe Commerce or even the governor, we have somebody who's, we're just good advocates for business and making sure our businesses are successful. I do attend trade shows. So marketing, there's two things that I've noted for myself for goals for this year. One is to update our properties, which I think is really important for people to be able to access that and to be seen. The other is our marketing. And as anyone knows, if you put an ad in a local paper, it's not cheap. So when we're talking about global marketing, and we want to reach not just our local people, but we want to reach out out of our boundaries into the U.S. and even further, it's not cheap. So sometimes people are like, well, we spend a lot of money on, that's our goal right now, is that marketing. We're trying to get out there. I'm a very good entrepreneur of trying to find ways to be a good stewards of the SREDA dollar, because it's tight for everybody. It's tight for our cities, our businesses. So I try really hard to be a good steward of that. But so marketing is a big one. So right now, I would have said 5 years ago, Fruitland was our #1 all the time. What's going on in Fruitland? Now it's Weiser, guys. It really is. So we've done something right. Weiser is hopping. We have a lot of things going on in Weiser right now. So just some of our local successes that we've had. We've been really good and successful at getting grants recently. For some reason, they have been just really coming for us, and I don't know exactly why. But as you'll see on your agenda in a couple of things, is one of the grants that SREDA wrote for one of the businesses coming up, and that's going over here by the Maverick. So we do some grants. We try and stay clear of huge giant grants because they're very consuming, but we do help businesses write grants and things like that. We try not to duplicate services, so our business partners with USDA and the Small Business Center, the SBA, those kind of things, without them, we try not to duplicate services. So we just really work as a great team. And I would suggest if you know someone who's looking for those things to let us know. And Larry probably can tell you that we're we're working really hard to try and find a way to mitigate and have a full-time person doing grants for SREDA, for our communities, because there is such a need for it right now. Someone who's actually specifically looking for the things that we need. So, for instance, I met with New Plymouth, and they are in desperate need for something for their library before they lose it. So I wrote your name down, because I'm like, okay, we need to get those two connected, have New Plymouth be talking to Weiser, but to help them be successful. But we do a lot of those things. Like I said, I connect the dots for a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs. How can we help them? How can we get them started? Who can I refer them to that's going to make them successful? We also have a new grant coming up that we're putting out for another GEM grant. The state of Idaho will only allow us one per entity. So you guys were gracious enough to do the last GEM grant, so we're submitting us another GEM grant through Washington County for Weiser. It's a way to get around that until we get this one closed and we can apply for another one. But we really want to see, that money coming in our direction. And we see it going out a lot over the state, but we want to see it come here. So we push really hard for those grants, and we spend a lot of time and work really hard on those to make sure we get those funds. Another one I would just like to mention, in your packet we have last month's minutes, but you'll notice in there we got to go tour Pack Fiber, and I'm not sure if a lot of you have been there, but that was one of our other grants, a $200,000 rural infrastructure grant that we got for them, and they are just a wonderful company. I can't tell you how impressed I've been. We had a couple of the commissioners come out because they were the one who funded that grant for us and who facilitated it, I should say. But it was a great company. We're glad to have them here. So we're looking for those successes, those wins. Our job is to get them here, and then you guys have that job of nailing them down and telling them how wonderful Weiser is and finding them a spot. But we're here to help, we're here to support the businesses. You know, if we don't hear from you, we assume we're doing good, but if you have questions and if you have things like that, please let us know where we can step in, where we can help. We're always willing to help. And like I said, if I'm not that person, we'll find that person to help. I think the last thing is that we are looking for some board members to fill. We had a couple openings, so if you're interested, let us know. We would love to have you join us. I've also included in there just a little bit about who's on our board and our new brochure. You can take a look at that and see what that looks like. But I do appreciate your time, and I would ask if you have any questions that maybe I could answer. And that was a whirlwind of information, so I'm sorry.
So can you describe for us your relationship with like our economic development committee?
Well, of course, because Patrick was supposed to be right here tonight. He's like, I got to get some stuff for the store tonight. I just can't. So he's not here tonight. But yeah, so of course we work really closely with Patrick and that committee. You know, a big supporter, of course, is Idaho Commerce, which is helping with the downtown and doing the Main Street stuff. But we just have those really close, you know, we're not to duplicate, we don't want to step on people's toes, but we definitely want to see, you know, that things are progressing, moving forward, that we're being supported, you know, if there's things out there that we can be doing. I had a gal call me, I got to present at the Weiser chamber meeting last month, and I got a lot of great contacts from that too. Folks that I think that we can really step up and help too. So yeah, so Patrick was supposed to be here, but he's not. And so we work really closely. You know, when we don't want to do things that you as a city are doing, but we want to complement that for sure. And like I said, once we get in here, that's your job. You're gonna wow them, and you're gonna show them all the great things that Weiser has to offer. And we just want to make sure we get them here and we get noticed. So thank you, Larry.
Yeah, so when someone contacts you and said, hey, I have a business I want to start somewhere, and I'm considering your area. So what's the process after that? Do they normally have a community or a location picked out, or do they?
They usually have a state picked out. So each of the states really has unique advantages and disadvantages. So usually when I get a call, it's like we're looking at Idaho, we're looking at Oregon. We're looking at Oregon because we're looking at Idaho because. So one thing I have found that is really interesting is we've gotten a lot of folks coming up from California, and you guys will know with Project Blvd. Does that sound familiar to everybody? Okay. As we're working with them, and they're just so gung ho, and they're like, we have some international sales. I'm like, Commerce would love to have, you know, to take you places and do things like that, but really, back to it's just a matter of how we can connect them, how we can make them successful, and hopefully.
So you get information from them about exactly what they want in a facility or a location, or what are the things they need to have access to, and then you have compiled the information from the various communities in our area,
right.
And usually, you can line those up.
And usually I don't really pick a community. Usually if I get that, I will say, we have a project coming up. Are you interested in submitting for this? So that would go to you guys, and you know, is this a possibility? You know, they're looking for a certain amount of acreage, or they're looking for a building, they're looking for rail access, whatever it might be. If the shoe fits, then we usually push it out to all of our communities, and that way everyone gets a chance, and they get to kind of pick where they want to land. So yeah, it's usually a pretty long process in the way we submitted that kind of information, but I'll have to say Weiser is pretty unique in the fact that you have your own power and things like that too, so yeah. Does that kind of answer how that process works? Larry, do you have something to add? He's on our board.
So, yeah, we, just to let everybody know, we do contribute to SREDA each year through our budget, and have a board position that we have in SREDA, as part of that. And I've been filling that role for the last few years. So it's, I will say that the process of getting a new business in here, especially somebody from out of town, is long and perilous and dumbfounding. Yeah,
It can be,
because
for
you can have a deal ready. You think they're going to break ground next week, and next week comes and they're like just gone. So it is tedious work. It's I think the committee, our economic development committee is at least as good as any other community in SREDA about having information available for people that SREDA gets contacted by, and I think that's likely a reason why there's more things coming our way, is because the other thing that I've garnered from being on the board is when they want information, they want it like right now. And when we need information from them, then it's going to be a while. And so if you don't have that all compiled, and that's the great thing about our committee is they've compiled the information that we have been learning that those people want, that SREDA helps us put together, and we really have that. And SREDA does a great job. I've described it a lot as SREDA gets the cows to the pasture, and we got to get them through the gate. And I think that's been working very well in our case. And SREDA serves a great purpose for us, I think.
Thank you, Larry. Any other questions? I thank you so much for your time and your service. I do have to shout out to Larry. He has really stepped up. We lost our treasurer, and he graciously offered to do that for that position. So
I'm not
I
sure
guess
that's how I'd put it.
the bottom motive was for sure to talk him into being the secretary, but it did go down, so we got him as treasurer. So I appreciate your time, and just know that we're available for phone calls or whatever. Just give us a call anytime to answer any questions that you might have. Send some folks our way. We'd love to visit with them, so thank you.
Thank you.